It's time to duel!
Welcome everybody, H here with the deck profile for the loner decks of the Predaplant, the Devouring Venom Dragon. Now, we're gonna go only through a few cards, the ones that I seem important. So, a lot of these Predaplant monsters have complicated names, so I'm not even gonna bother, so I'm gonna just expand the monsters and just show you. So this monster you can always keep in your hand, so when your opponent declares an attack, you can special summon this monster in either position you want. When your opponent's monster successfully declares an attack on it and destroys it, you can destroy that monster and add a Predator card from your deck to hand. Good card, really good hand trap card for the Predaplants. They need something like this. When I was playing with this deck, it was quite difficult, but this card was a lifesaver. Now, I didn't really use this card too much in the duel. Even these Predaplant cards, they're really good for the setback cards that your opponent puts, because as soon as you activate it in the pendulum zone, you can destroy one other card your opponent controls, which is really good. This card, when it's normal summoned, once per turn you can target one face-up card your opponent controls and place a Predator counter on it. Now the reason for these Predator counters on your opponent's monsters, when you come across this card, you can actually use your opponent's monsters that has Predator counters, and it becomes a dark monster, and you can use it to fusion summon one of your Predator fusion monsters. Really good cards. Most of this Predator deck is about stealing your opponent's monsters, so your opponent gotta watch out for that. This card is the start of your rotation of your deck. So if this card is normal special summon, you can send one monster from your hand to the graveyard, then special summon one Predator monster from your deck. And you can see how it's limited to one as well. Really awesome card. The other one is this one. Placing Predator counters on your opponent's monsters by normal or special summoning this card. Really good card, these Predator counter cards. And when your opponent actually controls a monster with a Predator counter, you can actually tribute that monster and special summon this card. But unfortunately, it's a tuner and it makes no sense in this deck because it's a fusion event. But in a regular duel, you can see how beneficial this card is. Okay, this card, if your opponent controls a monster with a Predator counter, you can just special summon this card. These cards are actually quite good too, but you gotta get used to them. Predator counters are very important to get into. Now, they do have the basics. This one's just special summoning the Predator monster from your hand, then add a Predator card from your deck to your hand. Except this card, obviously. And then there is a stipulation: after using this, you can only special summon fusion monsters. So make sure you special summon your monsters first. The main card in this order's fusion spell cards is Super Polymerization. Discard one card and special summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from either side of the field as materials. And the reason why this is because you have this guy. This one's Predaplant Pterapenthes. I've used this in my Lair of Darkness deck, and it takes 3 dark monsters on the field. Really good card in this event. A lot of people in this event is using Despiers, so you'll see a replay where the person just surrenders because what could you do? What can you truly do if they just steal all your monsters? Not just one, 2, all of them. Really good card. All these Predator monsters are just awesome, but the main ones I was summoning is this guy, Trifry Overton, Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, as soon as he's special summoned, you're going to target one card your opponent controls and it gains attack equal to it. Awesome. This guy is really good, but it's just dependent on the level of the monster you are fighting. And be careful because it can banish itself. So don't just activate anything. But this loner deck wasn't too bad to play with. It was quite enjoyable stealing your opponent's monsters. Just give it a spin if you want, but don't stress out too much because everyone's using Despias. So be sure to enjoy the event, grab those gems, stay safe, H out.